It's Thursday, and I'm dressed in a t-shirt, so it must be time for Maxime, a young person struggling with their identity and societal expectations, found comfort in their room. They stared out the window, watching as the shadows grew longer and melted into the evening. The calm outside was the opposite of the turmoil inside. Every day felt like wearing a costume that didn't fit, the seams ready to burst. To the world, Maxime showed a mask shaped by what others expected, but inside lay a truth that felt suffocating to hide. Since childhood, Maxime had felt different. While others easily expressed who they were, Maxime felt like they were putting together a puzzle without a picture. The roles they played, child, student, friend, came with scripts meant for someone else. Laughing at jokes that weren't funny, talking about things that felt strange. Every social interaction was a performance. This struggle was clear in how they dealt with others, often feeling like an outsider. Society's whispers were like tiny cuts, each one filled with the poison of conformity. Phrases like, be a man, or that's not how boys act, echoed in their mind, reminding them of the gap between who they were expected to be and who they truly were. The pressure to fit into boxes left Maxime feeling hurt, scared, scarred by societal expectations. As they grew older, the pain deepened. High school brought more freedom, but also more challenges. The cloak of conformity became heavier with more judgments and stereotypes. Maxime watched, often with silent envy, as their peers formed genuine connections and explored their identities, while they felt trapped behind an invisible barrier. The decision to come out, to align their outside world with their inside truth, was monumental. It wasn't made lightly, but was borne out in deep conflict. Fear gnawed at them, fear of rejection, misunderstanding, and the unknown. Would friends accept them? Would family understand? Each question haunted them. Yet a breaking point came one evening while watching a movie about a young artist struggling for acceptance. The artist's journey mirrored what Maxime needed to do. They realized that the pain of hiding was greater than the risk of being exposed. Maxime understood that true happiness could only come from living authentically. They made a vow that night to no longer be a prisoner of societal expectations, no matter the cost. The days that followed were filled with emotions, drafting what to say, rehearsing until it felt less like a confession and more like a proclamation. Maxime prepared to live their truth. The fear of acceptance lingered, but the resolve forged in that moment pushed them forward. The bond between Maxime and Marcus was forged in childhood and solidified through shared experiences. As they grew, their friendship evolved but remained built on respect and support. Marcus was more than a friend. He was a constant in a shifting world. They navigated school together, faced bullies, and celebrated victories. When Maxime struggled with subjects like math, Marcus patiently helped, never getting frustrated. Their bond deepened through their shared love of video games. These games were an escape and a way to connect. Marcus was the strategist, while Maxime was daring. But beneath this close friendship, anxiety grew. Maxime's family was conservative, and Marcus sometimes echoed these sentiments. Maxime feared that Marcus might reject them if he knew their truth. This fear seeped into their interactions, making conversations fraught with unspoken words. Despite these fears, Maxime knew they couldn't hide forever. The burden of not being true to themselves was becoming unbearable. One evening, while playing a video game, Maxime felt the weight of the moment. Turning off the console, they spoke softly. Marcus, I need to tell you something important. Marcus responded with concern, but also with encouragement. You can tell me anything, Max. Maxime took a deep breath. I'm non-binary. I don't feel like just a boy or just a girl. I'm both, neither, in between. This is who I am, and I need you to understand and accept it. The words hung in the air, and Marcus' response, though slow, was gentle and sincere. Max, that's a lot to take in, but I want you to know I'm here with you. Just tell me how I can support you. Relief washed over Maxime. They had prepared for various reactions, but Marcus' acceptance was a balm to their soul. If you could use they-them pronouns, it would mean the world. It's a crucial part of affirming my identity. Marcus agreed, promising to try his best. Maxime smiled, feeling a weight lift off their shoulders. Thanks, that means everything. It's been tough hiding this part of myself. Marcus reassured, you don't have to hide around me. We've been through too much together for a little pronoun change to affect us. I'm just glad you trusted me enough to tell me. They sat in comfortable silence, and Maxime felt a profound gratitude. Is there anything else you want to share? Marcus asked. Maxime replied, not right now. Just having you know this about me is a big step. We can figure out the rest as we go. Marcus nodded, and if you ever need to talk, or if someone gives you trouble, you know I've got your back, right? Maxime's voice was steady. I know, and I've got yours. Thanks for being such a good friend. They picked up their game controllers, feeling a newfound sense of freedom. Though everything had changed, their friendship was stronger than ever. As the storm outside began to fade, the teenagers gathered closer in the old church, the warmth between them palpable. Maxime shared their journey of coming out and finding acceptance. The friends listened with empathy, and Maxime felt relieved and liberated. Lucas said, That's brave, Max. It sounds like Marcus played a big role for you. Maxime nodded, smiling. He did. Not everyone was as accepting. I lost a few friends, but those who stood by me made all the difference. Sophie squeezed Maxime's hand. Anyone who couldn't see how amazing you are doesn't deserve your friendship. Emily added, It's about quality, not quantity. Having even one person who supports you can help you face anything. Yasmin spoke. One person's acceptance can set the tone for others. Marcus backing you up probably gave others the courage to do the same. Maxime felt a surge of gratitude. Marcus didn't just support me. He celebrated the good moments and helped me through the tough ones. He stood up for me. The group understood the importance of such solidarity. Maxime continued, Sharing this with you all here now, it feels like I'm exactly where I need to be. Lucas smiled. This church has become special, a place where we can all share our truths without fear. Jopiel spoke first. Maxime's journey shows us how hard it can be to make our outside world match our inner truth. It's a brave path, like Gabriel's messages, full of change and deep understanding. Logos agreed. Yes, Jopiel, Maxime's story teaches us that identity isn't just about how others see us, but how we see ourselves. The struggle Maxime felt, like wearing a costume that didn't fit, shows the conflict between what society expects and being true to oneself. Jopiel added, Through these tough times, people like Maxime find their real strength. Coming out, even with the fear of rejection and misunderstanding, is a powerful statement. It's a key moment that takes both vulnerability and great courage. Logos replied, Exactly. In Maxime's story, having a friend like Marcus changes everything. It turns a lonely path into one of shared understanding and companionship. Marcus' acceptance and support are like a light in the darkest times. Human connections are so important. Marcus's role isn't just about support, it's transformative. He not only accepts Maxime's truth, but also encourages and defends it, showing true alliance. Logos answered, True friendship and acceptance are powerful. The conversation between Maxime and Marcus, where trust and acceptance are shared, mirrors some of the most sacred human interactions, affirming one's identity and creating a sense of belonging. Jopiel reflected, Maxime's openness also reflects their peers. Their courage to be themselves makes others think about their beliefs and biases, possibly leading to broader societal changes. Each act of honesty and acceptance plants seeds for a more inclusive world. Their conversation taking place in a church adds a symbolic meaning. The sanctuary, a place of refuge and spiritual reflection, supports their exploration of deep truths. Like their friendship, The church becomes a haven where truths can be shared and personal revelations are embraced, Jopiel noted. This dialogue reminds us of our role as celestial beings in guiding and supporting these young souls. Just as we watch over them, they must watch over each other, providing strength and comfort on their journey. Logos replied, as Maxime and their friends leave this church, they carry their personal stories and a collective experience of growth and understanding. It's a beautiful example of how personal battles, when shared with empathy and support, can create strong bonds and build collective resilience. Jopiel and Logos continued to observe silently, their presence comforting as the teenagers navigated their past. The celestial beings knew that while they could offer guidance, the true strength lay in the youths themselves, as they learned, grew, and transformed through their shared experiences and heartfelt dialogues. Sophie, a young woman with a thirst for knowledge and a heart yearning for adventure, found comfort in the secluded section of the local library. Her fingers often brushed against the spines of ancient books, their leather covers whispering tales of bygone eras. Among volumes steeped in mysticism and mythology, she felt most at home, her mind hungry for the stories of celestial beings and divine interventions that seemed to resonate deeply within her soul. On this particular afternoon, a glint of gold caught Sophie's eye, a book slightly protruding from its shelf, as if it had been recently perused and hastily returned. The book, its pages yellowed with age, was bound in a rich golden cover adorned with intricate engravings. Curious, Sophie pulled it gently. The title, The Illuminated Paths, Stories of the Archangels, shimmered in ornate script across its cover. Excitedly, she tucked herself into a quiet corner of the library, the musty scent of old paper surrounding her as she began to read. The stories of Uriel, the Archangel of Light, captivated her immediately. Described as a beacon of wisdom and a guide for the lost, Uriel's tales were filled with enigmatic guidance and divine mysteries. Sophie's heart thrummed with a strange, resonant familiarity as she read about those touched by Uriel's path, their paths illuminated by his wisdom. Hours slipped by unnoticed until the library's closing announcement nudged Sophie back to reality. Reluctantly, she placed the book back on its shelf, her mind swirling with images of Uriel and his celestial guidance. As she exited the library, the setting sun cast long shadows across the park path, painting the world in hues of amber and gold. Compelled by an impulse, Sophie decided to detour through the more secluded part of the park. The air was crisp and the rustling leaves whispered secrets only they knew. Here, under the boughs of the ancient oak, she noticed a figure standing serenely, bathed in the last light of day, which seemed to cloak him in an ethereal glow. He was tall, his features chiseled yet gentle, and his eyes held a depth that seemed to span centuries. As Sophie approached hesitantly, he turned towards her, his smile gentle. You seem to be a seeker of truth, he remarked, his voice carrying a comforting and commanding timbre. Sophie's heart skipped a beat. She had never met anyone like him before, someone who seemed to know her so well. Yes, I am, she replied, her voice filled with an awe and curiosity. I've been reading about the archangels. The archangels, you say? He looked thoughtful, then nodded as if deciding something. Then perhaps you're ready for a quest of your own. Have you ever heard of the Strasbourg relic? Sophie shook her head, her interest piqued. It's said to be a fragment of the true cross, lost in Strasbourg hundreds of years ago. Legends speak of its power to enlighten and guide those who possess a true seeker's heart. And you think I should look for it? Sophie asked, her voice a mix of skepticism and excitement. If you seek enlightenment, following the path to this relic could be your journey's beginning, he replied, his eyes shimmering with a mysterious light. Sophie felt a thrill run through her. The idea of embarking on a quest, something out of the ancient tales she so loved, was both daunting and exhilarating. Where do I start? She asked, her voice filled with determination. The journey will guide you, as will the signs along the way. Trust in the light within you, and you will find what you seek, he advised, his figure beginning to fade as the sun dipped below the horizon. "Wait, who are you?" Sophie called out, stepping forward. But he was gone, leaving only the faintest trace of light and a sense of destiny unfolding. Driven by the enigmatic encounter and the words of the mysterious figure, Sophie returned home, her mind alight with possibilities. That night she began planning in earnest, poring over maps and texts about Strasbourg, determined to trace the steps of the relic. Her heart was her heart was full of questions, but also a burgeoning sense of purpose. This wasn't just a search for an ancient artifact, but a quest to discover her path and truth. As she lay in bed, her mind buzzing with excitement and anticipation, she couldn't help but wonder what lay ahead. What mysteries and revelations awaited her on this journey of self-discovery? She was no longer the same Sophie who had walked into the library that afternoon. She was a seeker, a dreamer, a woman on a mission to find her truth. As dawn broke the next day, Sophie packed her bag with essentials, her spirit buoyed by the promise of adventure. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the scent of dew and the promise of a new day. She left a note for her friends, promising to share her story upon her return. With a deep breath and a final look at her familiar surroundings, she stepped out into the world, her journey towards Strasbourg a relic and her enlightenment just beginning. The sun, a golden orb in the sky, cast long shadows across the path, as if guiding her on her way. Sophie's quest for the Strasbourg relic was not just a search, but a relentless journey into the depths of her town's history and soul. It all began on a crisp autumn morning in the library, where ancient texts and dusty tomes whispered secrets of the past. As she flipped through a particularly worn volume on regional myths, Sophie's eyes caught on a passage describing a relic believed to have mystical properties, purportedly a fragment of the True Cross, lost somewhere in Strasbourg centuries ago. The text hinted that the relic was last seen in the old bell tower, shrouded in legend and anchored at the heart of her homeland. Eager to uncover the truth, Sophie headed to the bell tower, its aged stones standing solemnly against the sky. The air was crisp and carried the scent of old wood. Climbing the narrow, creaking steps to the top, she could almost hear the echoes of the past with each step. She found a small, carved-out niche in the belfry, hidden behind the massive clock base that had watched over the town for generations. Inside was a brittle envelope, yellowed with age, containing a cryptic riddle that read, "Seek where young minds meet, their knowledge rests in playful jest." The clue led Sophie to the elementary school, a building as full of life today as it was decades ago. With permission from the school principal and a family friend, Sophie ventured into the dimly lit basement used for storage. Behind stacks of forgotten props and costumes, her flashlight beam settled on a large mural, painted by a beloved art teacher who was long retired. The mural depicted various historical scenes of the town, including the construction of the town hall. A small inscription in a discreet corner of the mural was barely noticeable, "Truth's Foundation at the town's heart." Sophie's next step was the town hall. She explored its quieter, less frequented corridors until she found herself in front of an old, seldom used closet in a forgotten office. Inside, among piles of outdated filing and discarded office supplies, she discovered a collection of maps and documents. Sifting through them revealed a century-old map of Strasbourg with an X marking the location, the local museum, a clue that excited her heart. At the museum, Sophie delved into the archives with the help of a curator intrigued by her story. Together, they uncovered references to a mysterious society that once funded the museum's establishment, known for their secretive gatherings and philanthropic deeds. A hidden panel in the exhibition dedicated to the society revealed a small, intricately carved box. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, was a shard of wood accompanied by a letter confirming its origin as a piece of the True Cross, safeguarded by the society after being lost during a tumultuous period in Strasbourg's history. Each location revealed clues and layers of knowledge about her town and herself. In the bell tower, she had learned the value of looking beyond the obvious. In the school's basement, the importance of foundations in both buildings and life. The town hall's archives taught her that history was often hidden in plain sight, and the museum's secrets showed the power of preservation and the significance of caretakers of history. As Sophie pieced together the relic's journey, she also pieced together a part of herself. The quest had led her through physical and metaphysical mazes, each step uncovering the paths walked by those before her, and those she might take in the future. She returned to the church where her friends gathered, the relic shard safe in her pocket, but the true treasure was the wisdom she had gained. A sense of fulfillment and self-realization washed over her, filling her with a newfound confidence and understanding. Gathered in the quiet sanctuary of the church, Sophie shared her adventure with her friends. At each stop, each discovery had a story. As she recounted her journey, the light of understanding brightened in her friends' eyes. Her quest had not just been about finding a lost relic, it had been about discovering the layers of history beneath their feet and the layers of their own identity. I've learned the wisdom isn't just about knowing facts or uncovering the past, Sophie explained, her voice echoing softly in the hollowed space. It's about understanding how those facts, those stories shape us and our future. It's about seeing the light in the darkness and the truth hidden in mystery. Her friends listened, moved by her words and the journey she had undertaken. The relic, a small piece of wood, might have been the catalyst, but the real discovery was the enlightenment she had found and shared in that old church, as the last rays of the sun filtered through stained glass, casting prisms of light across their faces. They understood that they, too, were on their paths to discovery, each quest leading to a deeper understanding of themselves. Sophie's story was a testament to the power of seeking truth, not just in the world, but within oneself. As they sat in the fading light, the sense of camaraderie and purpose was palpable. The journey was just beginning for them all, guided by the wisdom and light Sophie had brought back from her quest. In the corner of the old church, two celestial beings, Jophiel and Logos, were talking about a special journey on earth. Jophiel, the angel of wisdom and beauty, was reflecting on a young woman named Sophie. Sophie's adventure really matches the themes we often think about, Jophiel said thoughtfully. Her search for the Strasbourg relic, a legendary artifact believed to have great spiritual power, is much like many spiritual quests. It's a journey that mirrors the inner search for meaning and understanding. Logos, who represented reason and knowledge, nodded. Yes, Jophiel, Sophie isn't just looking for an old object, she's searching for deeper knowledge and wisdom. Her physical journey leads to personal growth and insight on a much more profound level. Jophiel continued, the way Sophie was drawn to the book in the library, titled The Illuminated Past, Stories of the Archangels, and then met the mysterious figure under the oak tree. These moments seem like signs pointing her to the higher purpose. It's as if the universe is guiding her toward a meaningful discovery. Logos agreed. Exactly. Every step she takes requires bravery and an open mind to interpret the signs she encounters. The book, the mysterious figure, and even the whispers of the leaves are all parts of a larger story, helping guide her to her destiny. Jophiel added, the symbol of Uriel in her readings represents wisdom and light, and Uriel's guidance is often subtle but profound. Sophie's interest in these stories fits her role as someone searching for deeper truths. Logos responded, yes, Sophie's journey through the park and her meeting with the mysterious figure highlight the idea of guidance in her quest. Just like Uriel, this figure appears at a key moment, giving her direction and confirming her role as a seeker. It shows how divine influence can guide us in ways we might not fully understand until after. Jophiel reflected on Sophie's bravery. Her decision to follow a legend and trust in a chance encounter shows her courage and faith. She's willing to step into the unknown, believing her journey will lead her where she needs to be. Logos added, Sophie's quest shows how pursuing our destiny can transform us. As she searches for the relic, she discovers more about her town's history and herself. Each challenge she faces helps her learn about her strengths and place in the world, inspiring us all to find our own paths of self-discovery. Jophiel smiled, and when Sophie shares her adventure with her friends, she spreads her newfound wisdom. Her story, which began with skepticism but ended with inspiration, has the power to uplift and enlighten those around her. Logos concluded, Sophie's journey from the quiet library to the mysterious park and finally to the relic is a great example of the journey of life. We are all on our own paths to find our treasures of wisdom and understanding. Sophie's story shows that the quest is not just for answers, but for the deeper understanding that comes with discovering those answers. Jopiel and Logos continued to watch over Sophie, knowing that her journey of self-discovery and spiritual seeking was just beginning. They were there, silently guiding and supporting her as she continued to explore and grow. Hey, it's all here. Hashtag old night sage, and it is 3:19 Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, 3:19 a.m. Wednesday morning, and I'm just finishing editing this. Just want to let you all know we got one more part to this. Um, we've got Yasmin's story. It'll be a little shorter than the first two because the first two were two at a time, but we're going to finish it off next Thursday. Hopefully, you'll join us for that. Not exactly sure what the title Mondays is, but we're going to have another video Monday from Craig Madison, and be plenty of information out there for that. Hopefully, we'll see you then. Hopefully, you've enjoyed this. I want to remind you to head on over to dizzy-angel.com, and you can get a free Mobi, EPUB, or PDF copy of this sermon of this book. I'll get my channels confused. Of this book, and of course, there are sermons there from our other channel, Let's Choose Jesus. We encourage you to go over there and check those videos out. Check out the books on dizzyangel.com. Don't forget the hyphen. I can't remember for the life of me why I put it in there, but I put it in there for a reason. So hopefully we'll see you there. And have a great week. We will see you again on Monday. And yeah, just remember, God, Jesus, Allah, Muhammad, Buddha, the Aeons, the Archons, the angels, they all love you. And I love you too. So, love and hugs and kisses all out.